I grew up in church. My parents were Christian as far as I can remember, and I started to rebel little by little. It started at the age, I guess, 13, 14. My lust, I was lustful, I guess like every teenage boy, but I didn't want to restrict what I wanted. So I had a girlfriend at the time, and at the age of 14, I decided just to have sex, and I guess that started me off on the wrong path. And I started just dating her, continued to fornicate with her, and it kind of opened doors for other things. And I stopped caring what it was that God thought, and every time I would feel conviction, I would just ignore it or push it aside until I really stopped feeling the conviction as time went on. I disregarded what God wanted from my life, even though I knew what it was He wanted. And then I guess I became more lustful even, because I guess when you've never tasted candy, you don't know what you're missing. So when I had sex, I realized how good it was, and I wanted to have more of it with more people. And there's kind of no, if you don't put restrictions, you go wild. I was 16 years old, and I remember it's very specific. It was a very big deal for me. 16, I was still didn't care what God wanted for my life, but my parents were churchgoers, so they made me go to church. So I didn't have a choice on that matter. But I would attend church, but I would never pay attention to the sermon, and I would just go. I had my friends there, and at the time I was talking or dating this girl at the church. So I looked forward to going to the church at this time. And there happened to be a preacher. She was actually a prophet, and she was preaching one day. And for some reason, I couldn't take my eyes or my view from what she was saying. And even her, like, she was not saying she was attractive at all physically, but there was something in the message she was saying that I couldn't look away. There was something about it, and she preached with a boldness that I hadn't really seen, and it touched me. The message she spoke was about surrendering to God and carrying your cross daily. And she talked about prayer, she talked about surrender, and she didn't hide the things that a Christian would have to give up. She didn't hide that from the message she preached. And I thought there, sitting next to the girl that I was talking to, and I thought to myself, yeah, I want God. And I felt like a call, like God was calling and speaking to me directly. And I told God, if you would allow, not only will I give you my life, but if you can ever use me like you're using this woman, and in the way you're using her, I would not just give you my life, but I would serve you in ministry, or however, in whatever fashion you want me to serve you, and I would serve you in that fashion. And she stopped preaching right then and there. I mean, a second passed, and then she looked in my direction. I was sitting near the back of the church. She pointed at me, she called me to the front, and she started to prophesy to me. And it was words of life. She prophesied to me things. She really didn't put me on blast, and she did say that I was in the mud and the mire, but God was taking me out, and that He was going to begin to put His words in my mouth. And I felt something at that moment that began to transform me on the inside, and that was a pivotal point for changing my entire life. So now I got a wife, and I got two boys, one 6-year-old and another almost 3 months, 2 boys. And I feel like God is calling me into ministry, but I'm not waiting to be used until I'm in ministry. I use every day to try to interact with people and to love on people and to share loving kindness. You know, I don't always have the word or anything like that, but if we reach out in love and we show the kindness of Christ, I feel that's a great way to touch people. I have a construction company with my family, and that's what I do to make money, but my passion is reaching people with the love of Jesus.
Living by faith and not by sight, Lord. yourself.